I don't think the Australian dream is my dream anymore. Seriously. The Australian dream in Australia anyway has always been about, having a successful career, buying a house, having kids, having nice cars, going on holidays, retiring, at the retirement age. As I've got older, right, my version of the Australian dream has just changed. And I don't think I'm alone in this way of thinking. I don't, because as you get old, right, once you've achieved a lot of those things, it's like you come to this thought, right, and you go, well, what the heck is next? It just feels like when you get older, in Australia anyway, you're just sort of like maintaining the lifestyle, the same lifestyle that you've been living for years. So the Australian dream to me is completely different, obviously, because, like in my case, I bought a home. Well, it wasn't a house, it was a unit with my husband. We had our daughter, and I've only got one daughter. She's grown up now. And as for careers, well, I never really had one. I never really knew what I wanted. So a career was really one of those hard things for me to figure out. But I've just had tons of different jobs, which have all been really different. That's all good. Like, it's helped me get things, buy things, do things, all that jazz. But then you get to this day when you get older and you go, well, the Australian dream, what is that now? Whoever asked us, right, what we wanted? It seems like the Australian dream has been like told to us what it should be, What if you don't actually want any of that? Like, because let's face it, to have the Australian dream, right, especially in these times, you've got to make a lot of money. The things that we buy own us. We don't own them anymore. Like the house, for instance, the house that you buy. It's all well and good that it puts a roof over your head, and it's good to have a home. I'm not arguing with that. As a person who has had a home, a unit for 30 years, I can tell you now, you pour a lot of money and time maintaining that house, and you get to this point and you just think, do I want to still keep doing this? Every so many years the house has got this problem or that problem. I mean, every 30 years a house needs to be basically, upgraded, and that costs money. And it's like, is that all our life is meant to be about? Just maintaining the things that we buy. No one really asked us what kind of life we wanted. I think that's what I'm trying to say. We were just given this template. Oh, this is how life's meant to be. This is the Australian dream. You do this, you do that. Like you go to school, you get a job, you get a career, you buy a home, you start a family, you buy cars, you buy heaps of stuff to fill up the house. You go on some holidays if you're lucky, of course. You have kids, and don't get me started on job titles. Everyone's so judgy in Australia if you've got like this low skilled job. It's like, oh, I almost feel sorry for you. It's like people just judge you on the place, the suburb you live in, the kind of home you live in, the job you've got, the car you drive in Australia. It's like, the Australian dream is basically, if you think about it, all about impressing your neighbours, impressing your friends, impressing, heck, even strangers. Not everyone wants to impress people, What comes with all these, fancy looking cars and houses and nice things is just, it comes with a lot of debt, a lot of maintenance, a lot more stress and less freedom, because let's face it, to have and own all these things means we got to work a lot harder. The strange thing is, right, is that the more we own, right, the more it feels like our possessions start owning us. A bigger house, for instance, doesn't just cost more money, it costs more time cleaning, more repairs, more insurance, more worry. Suddenly you're spending your weekends, instead of just doing something enjoyable like going to the beach or going out for lunch, you're basically spending your weekends looking after the things you bought because you thought that they would make your life better. I've never been that type of person that thinks it's so important to have a fancy job title. And I see a lot of that in this country, okay? And I'm sick of it. I am sick and tired of being in a country that puts so much emphasis and importance on having the fancy job title, you know. And I could go on about this job title crap. Like, even today, there's still some people that still think that their fancy job title makes them so much better than somebody else. Like, it's almost like their ego will get crushed severely if they lose that job, you know. I know so many people, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's people like that, I know. And I just think, man, like, there's more to life than your job title. Like, what are you going to do if you lose your job? I think it's kind of sad, especially when they're over 60. Because, look, we're not guaranteed another 20 years when we're 60, right? I mean, people in their 60s start to get health issues, okay? And I think when you're at 60, you've got a certain amount of time, right, that you can physically do things, right? If you wait until you're 70 to retire, what kind of things are you going to be able to do physically, at least? You know, let's be realistic. And again, I don't blame them, because these people have been brought up, you know, being told that this is the Australian dream, right? I'm probably going off track now. This is just a rant really. But yeah, I think that there's more to life than having fancy job titles, fancy houses. The Australian dream has all been wrong for me. It's been wrong. And it's all being designed, it's being told to us what we've been told from a young age by society, what the Australian dream should look like. If you haven't done all those things that constitute the Australian dream, then somehow there's something wrong with you. It's almost like, well, have you got a mental illness? What, are you lazy or something? No, I just don't think people realise that the Australian dream, okay, is something that's being forced on you. You know, some people don't realise that you do have the right to choose what you call the Australian dream. People have had that shoved down their throat since they were at school. I don't know if you call it a school, more like an indoctrination camp, where they basically told you from a young age what your life is meant to look like. Now, I knew when I was a young girl that, no, you know what, I get that that's what you're teaching me, but I don't think I want that. Not all of it, some of it, but not all of it. The Australian dream puts a lot of people in debt. The Australian dream breaks up good marriages, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because people have been under so much pressure. Pressure from family, pressure from society, pressure to keep up with the Joneses, pressure to, you know, impress other people, right? And people have spent so much time outside the home, so much time away from their family, you know, their kids, their wives, their husbands, that they barely see their own family. Just so they're living the dream, just so they're keeping up with the Joneses. I just think that the version of the Australian dream needs to change. I think maybe we've got to make our own version of the Australian dream. You know, instead of being told what it looks like and then doing what you want that's different and feeling like a queer weirdo person for doing your own thing. I think it needs to stop. I think that's what I really mean. That's why I don't like the Australian dream, okay? I mean, I do like some of it, like everyone needs a roof over their head, everyone needs a job, I get that. But I think we are so obsessed with it, we're so obsessed of having it and keeping and maintaining everything that we've accumulated, which is called the Australian dream. It keeps us in a cage, you know? I've seen so many people divorce, you know, their marriages have been broken because of the things that they've wanted, you know, instead of wanting time with each other, instead of wanting more time with their kids and their spouses and other family members. It's always been about working hard to keep up with the Joneses, you know, to buy that other car that really costs too much money. You know, there's people that work three jobs sometimes, you know, and it's all because they're saving up for this and saving up for that. And I've never really thought that was a healthy thing. But these people that do it, they're determined, and I understand. But is that healthy long term? I think that my point is, once you get your basics in life, right? Once you get your roof over your head, your car, and that car doesn't have to be a fantastic brand new car worth $100,000. I was young as well once, and I used to want a cool looking car, you know, and a lot of it is because we want to impress people. But it's dangerous to continuously live like that, because we get ourselves into debt, and then it makes it hard to retire when you want to, because you've still got all this debt. I think the Australian dream is extremely outdated. It's about just having enough for me, you know, just balance, you know. Money is important, but heck, it's not everything, guys. It isn't. And if this video can help you in some way, at least take one thing. Question the Australian dream. What is that now? Do you think it's a little bit outdated? I mean, people are just surviving, you know. So the Australian dream, man, I think we need to really question that. Question it hard. Thanks for hanging out with me this far. I hope I made some sense as well. In the meantime, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to be chucking out more of this sort of videos, you know. Like, I've only done maybe 20 odd videos. I'm still trying to feel my way around this YouTube stuff, and I'm a Gen X, but I don't want to make this channel about my age. I don't know why I called my channel Sam Over 50, to be honest. I just didn't know really what I was going to talk about. I think I'm just more like, you know, the quiet observer, and I just find it interesting, just observing things in life, and also just bringing in my experiences. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.